Good evening and welcome to the March Recreation Commission meeting. This meeting will be replayed via Xfinity Channel 8 on High Definition Channel 1072. It can also be accessed via the Government Access Channel Live Video On Demand archive on the Town of Barnstable's website. I'll begin our meeting with a roll call. Just say present. Christina.
Present.
Tony.
Present.
And Renee, present. We will not act on the minutes from our January meeting because we do not have a quorum this evening, but we'll jump right into our new business topic. It is my pleasure to introduce Tom O'Neill, the chair board for the Sandy Neck Board. I have had the pleasure of being on that board for several months before I relocated temporarily to Arizona. And I asked Tom to join us tonight, not only to give the commissioners and our listening audience an update on some of the exciting things happening over at Sandy Neck, but also to do a call for action because there is an open board seat for this board. So without any further delay, let me introduce and welcome Tom.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you guys. And also thank you very much for all the work you do on behalf of the town of Barnstable. Just a quick introduction. Sandy Neck Board is not a regulatory board, much like your board. Our job is to try to influence parts of the town council, town manager on issues that could affect either opportunities or risks for Sandy Neck. We have 7 members on the board, 1 representative from Conservation Commission, 1 supposed to be designated from RecCom, and then the other 5 are at large. We have over 105 years of experience on the Sandy Neck board. So most of the people on the board have been there pretty long tenured. It tends to be a pretty popular board, I think because of the kind of work we do, and also kind of everybody sort of loves Sandy Neck. So it's kind of a labor of love as much as anything else. Our role primarily is to provide advice to the town council and town manager on issues relating to economic sustainability. As you know, Sandy Neck is an enterprise account, so it's basically a little business. It does not run off of taxpayer money. It runs off of revenue from the park itself. So keeping a key eye on revenues there is important. And we've done a lot of work over the last couple of years to raise fees, particularly for out-of-towners, which has helped us also to not only to keep the beach solvent, but also to provide income and revenue to help pay for the current project, which I'll talk about in a minute. We also are tasked with advising on conservation and coastal resiliency. And as you know, that ties very closely with the project we're doing right now with the beach reconfiguration. And then finally on public outreach and use. So looking for opportunities to expand the use of Sandy Neck and exposure of people in the town of Barnstable, particularly to Sandy Neck. And Renee has been very helpful in that respect. We did some really cool things last year with some of the kids at 3rd graders that were maybe for the first time ever at Sandy Neck, which is hard to believe. But there are a lot of people who don't get exposed to this amazing resource. And, you know, one of our jobs is to try to figure out ways to expand the exposure and experiences at Sandy Neck. So that's a little bit of background of the board. The project at Sandy Neck is a really big project. It's a $5.5 to $6 million project to basically reconfigure the entire beach park. It includes, I'll tell you where we are at the moment. First biggest piece of it is moving back if you know the facility, the lower parking lot, which is at Sandy Neck, which is being moved, now moved back about 75 feet. Robert Auer is the contractor working on this. They've been doing a good job. I was up there recently to look at the operation and the progress. They've moved the parking lot back. They've created new drainage systems for that parking lot. Those of you who've been there over the years know that we've affectionately used to call that lot Lake Sandy Neck because it would fill up with 2, 3 feet of water during rainstorms. So the lot's been moved back. The dune has been rebuilt and revegetated. So we had a massive dune there now to protect that facility. The upper parking lot has also been reconfigured to take advantage of some opportunities for additional parking. We'll end up with about the same, maybe a little bit more parking than we had before we started the project. We've also built a really beautiful observation deck, which is going to be accessible to everyone. We've also improved the accessibility to the beach by creating new walkway entrances so that people of all abilities can access the beach. The gatehouse has been moved. That was fun watching that. They picked it up and moved it a couple 100 yards up the road closer to the beach, which is going to help us avoid flooding issues. The gatehouse had been flooded several times over the years, so we've now moved that up the road a bit, so it's now out of the flood zone. And we've reconfigured with a lot of focus, the roadways with a lot of focus on traffic flow and safety. So the flow of traffic there, as well as the safety of people using the beach, is going to be enhanced by the new road system, the setup of the new road system. We've also reconfigured the air up and air down area to facilitate particularly those really busy days when we have a lot of people trying to use it at the same time. So we've taken that into account and reconfigured that area. So now the flow there should be much more easy. I think next, right now the weather's been a bit of a problem, as you all know. I don't know. I know from a couple weeks ago we were more or less on schedule. I don't know where we are at the moment. Probably close to on schedule or a little behind, maybe. I need to check with Nina on that. But the paving and things like that will be done, once the asphalt factories can start up again once it gets warmer. Still, I think targeting an April opening, which I think is still doable from what I can tell. So according to people I've talked to, so a big project, well underway. So far, so good. No major hurdles as far as I know, and it's going to really be a beautiful facility when we're done, I think. So obviously the board's been very active in this project really since 2015 when we started highlighting the issue to the town. It took a long time to get, the right moment, the right funding, everything else in place. Luckily, we've now been able to do that. We have a really good stream of funds coming from various sources in the state. And, we're going to have to take a minimal amount out of our own accounts to supplement that. So that's also excellent news. So that's the project. As you know, in terms of the board, we normally have a rec commission participant. Right now, from what I can understand, we don't have. Unfortunately, Renee's going to leave us, and I really hate that because she's been a great addition to the team. We'll miss her, but the way this works is that if we can't get someone from the rec commission to join us, then we have the right to basically post the position and fill that vacancy. And once that vacancy is filled, that person then takes the responsibility for liaising with your commission to make sure that issues that are coming from that need to be talked about between the two committees, that person would be responsible for facilitating that. So I'm actually in contact just about. I made a call in today to Cynthia Lovell to get that process going. I'll also be informing town councilors and everyone else I need to inform about this so we can get that ball rolling. But we can't leave this vacant. We need to get it filled. So it's either got to be one of you guys that is interested, or we have to go outside and fill the vacancy. So that process will be starting immediately. I think that was all I wanted to talk about. Anything else? Any questions about the project or what's going on with Sandy Neck?
So, Tom, some of the exciting things that I've learned about Sandy Neck with my tenure on the board is some of the exciting things that the Sandy Neck facility offers for our youth. So many folks aren't really aware of the educational component of Sandy Neck, that they actually have um, overnight boarding for young folks that are interested in the environment and interested in many of the natural resources that Sandy Neck offers to not only Cape Cod, but to the state of Massachusetts. And it's even broader than that, it's the United States. There are several pretty significant research, university based research projects that Sandy Neck is a part of. And the reason that I asked Tom to join us, Mark and John, is I do think that there is some synergy between HYCC and the youth development programs that we offer at HYCC and some of the educational components that Sandy Neck offers. So, for example, there is a teacher from Sturgis Charter Public School that is on the board, and he is a science teacher. And some of the work that he is doing with his science students over at Sandy Neck is bar none. It is not only high school level, it could easily be equated to university credits at the post secondary education level. So there is a tremendous opportunity to have some synergy between HYCC. Now, the commitment, it is a good commitment. This board meets every month, the second Monday. It meets at 7:30. Is that correct, Tom?
7 o'clock, yeah, at the
Seven
town
o'clock,
council.
7 o'clock. And it is an in-person meeting. And there's many reasons for it to be that way because of the diverse group of folks that are on this board. One other youth group that is very actively engaged with Sandy Neck is the Boy Scouts. So last year, they did an amazing project where they built a osprey nest, and they did all of the work. It was a leadership opportunity for the troop to come before the board to present their proposal, to give an update, to get funding for that proposal. And again, some nice synergy between our youth and this beautiful facility, Sandy Neck. So I do know that it Christina, you're new to the board, and getting onto the board and working is a commitment. We have two openings that we'll talk about later, but it is a tremendous opportunity for anyone who is listening or anyone on the board that has the time and the commitment to work on this board. The only other thing that I will mention is that last year, Hyannis West, as Tom mentioned, had a sea turtle for the third graders. And again, it is hard to believe that some of the youth in our community have yet to visit this this beach. And it was in fact due to a grant that the Sandy Neck team was able to secure, the help of the Hyannis Rotary Club and the board. The kids spent a full day out at Sandy Neck, and that turtle spent, I think, the entire year at the school.
Yep.
And I believe it was managed and taken care of by a third grade class, but the entire school was exposed to
Yep.
the turtle. So let me just pause and see if there are any questions from commissioners or from the HYCC staff. And Brendan, I did want to acknowledge that you joined us, and thank you so much. I know that you've been on the Recreation Commission as long as I have. Have you, in your childhood and in your upbringing on the Cape, have you taken advantage of Sandy Neck? That question was for Brendan.
I think he's muted.
I'm so sorry, Renee. I try to speak and my microphone just cut me out of the entire Zoom. Right. All I heard was I've been around as long as you have. That's all.
So my
Right.
question is,
Hopefully it was in a positive way you were talking
oh,
about it.
in a definite positive way. But have you reached out? Have you utilized the facility personally?
Sandy Neck? Of course I've been to Sandy Neck. I grew up in this town, right? Of
Yes.
course I know about Sandy Neck,
So, I mean,
right?
what I was saying, Brendan, is that there is an opportunity, especially I hate to lose our seat there, right? It is a
Yeah.
commitment, but that seat, and for Mark and John, the synergy, I'm not exactly sure what happened and why they are separated. Tom, you have a board. We are actually the Recreation Commission. We don't have board or voting um, responsibility. We're more an advisory committee to the town manager. So, but anything that you want to say, Brendan, on behalf of Sandy Neck?
No, I think it's a beautiful place, and I unfortunately I can't help in like giving a board seat, but I know that they're going to find somebody pretty soon because uh, it's only a matter of time, Tom, until he probably has like three people lined up, right? I see that face. So
And
Yeah, the
again,
Sandy Neck board never really has much problem filling the vacancies.
yeah,
It's one of those
no,
boards that pretty much a lot of people want to be on. So
yeah.
it's not so much that, it's just that we have to, either someone in your group has to commit to it, or we have to move on to a public posting,
And
and
I completely understand
it
that,
can't be in
right?
limbo.
I know
If
that you
last
guys have
time it
been in
took us a
limbo for
year to get the
multiple
job filled,
years.
last time there was a vacancy.
Yeah.
and then I just wanted to open up the discussion for both Tina and Tony, being a little bit newer to the Cape. Have either of you had an opportunity to visit the beach?
I have not. I that is on my bucket list here to do when the weather's better. And I have thought about being on the board for Sandy Neck, but I just had some concerns because it is every month and it's a big commitment. Um, and I'm not quite sure where I'm at right now with a lot of stuff going on. But what if I was to miss one of the meetings? Is that a big negative impact? Is there minutes that I can catch up on?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, look, I think it's in the course of a year, probably everybody misses at least a meeting, and maybe some. We had a guy on the board who was worked for the fire department, and occasionally he would just get nailed with overtime and miss a meeting. But I mean, I would say generally our attendance is pretty good.
Very good.
I mean, occasionally we cancel a meeting if there's February, like we canceled January. I can't remember now. It wasn't much of an agenda. It was cold, so we all have to travel to the town offices. So, but I would say every year we have at least 11 meetings, and I would say everybody probably over the course of a year the average is to miss a meeting or two. The issue it creates, of course, is, well, one thing is to make sure people tell you when they're going to miss a meeting because of quorum issues, because you really can't conduct a meeting without a quorum. So, so if we show up and we don't have a quorum, the rest of us all have to drive home with no meeting. So, including
so
possibly two town councilors. So, it's
yeah. Do you
not
think I can contribute to that board, being a newbie to the whole area? Is that something that you're looking for? Are you willing to
yeah.
take that
Look,
on, direct
I think
member for
I
me?
think everybody, because of the tenure of the people on the board, being there so long, as I've said before. I mean, I joined in 2013, which seems like a long time ago. Um, I think it can be a little bit intimidating when people first join because there's so much knowledge on that board. All the board members that are not attached to RecCom or Conservation Commission are people that either use the beach and either campers or day trippers or cottage owners. So typically, people that are on the board are beach users. They're out there a lot. So it can be a little intimidating when someone comes on that's maybe not as familiar. But that's not a big deal. Over time, you figure it out, and we just want people to contribute, and new ideas are always good. I mean, to some extent, we're all kind of locked in a lot of our experience, right? So sometimes it takes
Right.
someone new to come in with a fresh idea that sort of gives us a chance to think about things differently. So I wouldn't be worried about that, but it's just important to commit because it's disruptive if people are absent a lot, and
Right.
because you get something going, you have a conversation, and then the next two meetings are not there, and it's not good. So yeah, miss a meeting, miss two meetings over, average one and
Okay.
a half meetings a year missing or
And
something like
Christine, what
that.
I will say to you is that, Christine, they have been so welcoming. I was not really a user of the beach. I didn't know a lot of the services that they offered. The staff invited me over there several times, gave me a walkthrough, brought me up to speed. It is a great team. That's all I can say to you. And I really, miss being on the team and some of the momentum and the energy that started. So if you're interested in, there's just so many things for all age groups to utilize there, but especially our youth. And to think that we still have youth in our community that have never visited the facility. I think of the high school students, the environmental club over at Barnstable High School is well integrated into this facility. They're doing a lot of environmental things. And again, I'll go back to both John and Mark. There is so much opportunity. I know you guys are already busy with all that you have with HYCC, but there are some things that overlap and that there could be some collaboration. And that's why it was so important to hold this seat with a recreation commissioner. So if you want to spend some time after the meeting, you and I have played phone tag a little bit
Yeah.
to answer your questions. I'm sure that Tom would be willing to have a three-way conversation to help, answer your questions. I would love for you to step back, take all the data, and consider the role.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, the three things I mentioned earlier, economic sustainability. I mean, I'm a business person. As Renee said, we have a scientist on the group. We have a users of, different experiences. I don't think any two of us have the same experience. So initially my interest was, I live near it. I'm right next to Sandy Neck. So I have a kind of a personal interest in, because I use it so much. But also I'm a business person. I like the fact that it's a business and I get, get some enjoyment out of that part of it. But then, Pete, who's the scientist, he's his contributions are going to be more, useful. And when we talk about like this project, where we're talking about how to deal with all the issues we had with endangered species and stuff like that we had to get permits for to get through this project. But, it's a collaboration between the board and Nina and her team, because as Renee said, they're a phenomenal team. Nina and Donna and Anna Marie and the rest of the team there, Keely, they're great people, very dedicated, and really know their stuff. And they run a really professional operation. So, you just have to feel comfortable fitting into that group and contributing with new, listen. One of my old bosses told me, when you get into something new, you use your ears and your mouth in the proportion that God gave you. You have two ears and one mouth, use them in that proportion. So listen, and learn. But it's not a hard board to get fit into. It's just, I think sometimes it could be a little overwhelming at first because there's a lot to learn. I mean, Sandy Neck, has water, vernal pools, a forest, it's got a marine forest out at the end, the dunes. It's a complex, the marsh is complex operation, and, rare kind of a place on Earth, to be honest. So, it offers an awful lot, and the more people we can get to think about how we can utilize it more fully, the better,
All right,
So I wouldn't be afraid of being overwhelmed. I mean, I think it is important to be committed, though. And what that means is showing up and participating.
All right, thank you, Tom. Any other questions? Tony, anything I did?
Well, I would just say I've been to Sandy Neck many times. It is a marvelous place. Done some hiking there. There's all kinds of things to do there. I applaud Tina for stepping up. I would not be afraid of being new. I think it's and I do think having a direct link to this commission is really very important. So if you're willing to spend the time, and obviously Tom has the expertise and the experience that can help you get over that initial transition, I think that'd be great. But it is a special place that is we should embrace. I would think that the school division is another place that we want to get more kids out there. Absolutely, Renee, and how we do that is beyond me. But I think it's keep up the good work.
Yeah, it kind of blows me away that there are kids in this town that have not had the experience of being out there. I mean, I just think that's
hard to believe. Yep.
So,
All right. Thank you,
Excellent. Well,
Tom.
thank you,
Okay, so
everyone. And I think
Nika,
that, Tom, I
yeah,
just think that it was great having you here. I'm glad for our listening audience, for your listening audience, every um, meeting we have, we give an update on the Sandy Net board. We highlight the events that the Sandy Neck team is involved in and all the things that are available to the general public. So that's a nice synergy that we will keep that up.
so you'll just let me know fairly quickly then, I guess,
Yes.
whether anyone from your commission is interested, because I want to get this published, posted quickly if
Why don't I
possible.
make a commitment, Christina? You and
Yeah,
I, if we can talk.
I will. Yeah, Tom, I will. Why don't I? Can I come to the meeting? Is it coming up here on the 9th?
Yep, March 9th, next meeting. So
Okay,
you're more than welcome.
and how would I go about if I decide to want to be on the board? Do I just show up at that meeting or?
Well, I think if you're going to go, if you think you want to go on the board before the meeting, you should let me know so I can introduce you at the meeting. I just have to check with Cynthia Lovell about what I have to do mechanically to officially make that happen. But I think you could be there as a spectator, and I could always, if you decided at that point, or if you want to wait till afterwards, we can figure out whether we mention you're a potential candidate or not. But I just need to check with Cynthia on the process for onboarding you, so to speak.
And Tina, that would be an excellent, great start. That's what I did. I kind of went and listened, and they always have a guest at their meeting. As Tom said, there is a very interested and active community that love and support Sandy Neck. And then if you meet the team, get your questions, and then we circle back. Why don't we do that as our call to action if that works for you, Tina?
Yeah, I can. I'll be there on the 9th
Yeah,
at 6:12,
7 o'clock at
right?
the conference room upstairs next to the main town council meeting room. We're actually going to
Okay.
have a good discussion in March about the this recent water quality report that was published for Cape Cod. And Pete Sampo, who is the scientist that Renee mentioned, um, he is going to take us lay people through the language of that report, mainly as it applies to the water quality issues around Sandy Neck. So basically, Barnstable Harbor mainly in that area. So it's going to be an interesting discussion, I think. And we try to bring in at least maybe 2 or 3 times a year speakers from outside to help us keep up to date on what's going on generally in the environmental area. We had a speaker earlier this year from the Cape Wildlife Center who came in with a little screech owl to talk about what the center does. So we try to keep it, external speakers coming in as well. Pete is very qualified to talk about this water quality issue. So.
And Renee, if you get a chance, I don't know if you have a way to reach Tom or text him. Can you give him my phone number?
Yeah. I'll send,
Okay.
when I close the meeting, I'll put an introductory email together for you too.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll give you my number as well. But, okay, well, listen, I'll let you guys continue your meeting. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And Tina, we'll look forward to, you'd like to be called Christina or Tina?
Tina's fine. Or hey, you.
All right, Tina. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on the 9th, and then we'll see how it works out from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
So I'm going to go right into the old business. We are going to, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to move the 2026 Recreation Commission officer vote till April the 6th. It will be the only thing, unless something unexpected comes up, that we will cover on that meeting. And I know that Tony, you have another commitment, so I thank you so much for being here, at least for the discussion with Tom O'Neill from the Sandy Neck Board. The next person that I'd like to bring up, if they are present, is our youth commissioner. Are they with us?
Renee, I don't think they're present tonight.
Okay.
They're preparing for their big event tomorrow.
Okay, so let me see if I can, hold on one second. I have it. So I don't know if it's worth putting my screen up to share, but I'd like to make a public service announcement on this big event and then pass it to you, John, if you will. So this is their, is it the 10th? It is the 10th annual youth job fair that will be held tomorrow at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center from 2:30 to 4:30. This is a great opportunity for the many businesses that are in our community that are able to hire 14 to 18-year-old employees. It is a great uh, uh, it is a great event that actually was rooted by the Barnstable Youth Commissioners creating this event 10 years ago. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years. I was with this group when they first kicked it off. We not only host the event at HYCC, it has grown such that we provide bus transportation from various schools so students can finish their school day and come over to the HYCC to participate. I'm sure John will be able to give you a little bit of insight of how many vendors that are there. One thing that I'd like to highlight and give credit to not only HYCC, but this Barnstable Youth Commission, it has become a model that other towns have heard about, learned, and are adopting. So I believe at the 8th Annual Youth Commission, the town of Yarmouth actually had their recreation group come observe the event and say, this is a wonderful model for other Cape towns. So if you're listening and you are between the ages of 14 to 18, or you have a um, child, a guardian in that age category, I encourage you to stop by tomorrow anytime between 2:30 and 4:30 to see what opportunities there are for our youth in our community. John?
Yeah, thanks, Renee. I think we have just over 30 businesses that will be attending tomorrow. So that will be a good turnout. We have two buses that will come from Barnstable High School. So if you go to another high school, Sturgis, SJP, or outside of Barnstable, you'll have to get a ride provided by your parents or guardian. But yeah, we have plenty of vendors there tomorrow, or businesses there tomorrow, hiring kids anywhere from 14 to 18. Recreation will be there as well to hopefully get some employees ourselves. So it's just a great opportunity. I'm a little bit concerned with the storm last week, and hopefully it didn't damper any sort of communication out to families about the event. But I do know in my own household, since I have two high school students myself, I did get a phone call today at home giving information about the event. So, there was an all call to all the family members of Barnstable High School that got a phone call today from their house. But yeah, anyone that has a child or grandchild age 14 to 18, they should be there tomorrow and try to find that summer job.
Thank you, John. And I'd like to invite the commissioners, if you are able, to stop by to see this event. It is worth seeing what our youth commissioners are doing. It is one of their flagship events. And I'd also like to speak to all of the various businesses that maybe are just hearing about this job fair for the first time, and maybe you didn't have an opportunity to participate. I would encourage you to stop by and look at this event and at least consider it in the future as a way to reach out and hire some of our amazing young folks in the community. Any other questions? Am I off mute, John, and move into your staff report?
You want me to staff report? Okay. So coming up at the end of the month is the annual Mass Park and Rec Association conference. This year it's going to be held in Springfield. The past couple of years it's been held in Norwood, so we were able to drive there, attend the conference, come back. But this year we're going to be staying over in Springfield to enjoy the conference. And just like last year, this year I served on the awards committee. So the conference does awards to, like, let's say, new professionals, students, in different categories. And I was on that committee to help select the winners for that. So that was fun to be a part of that. Administratively new, we purchased a new van. Some of our vehicles are getting a little older, so we purchased a new van. We utilize that for programming and services that people need. So that was good. So when the weather gets a little nicer, we'll put some decals on it. So if you're familiar, if you drive around town, you always see, town red trucks driving around. Well, to get a red van these days, I guess, takes years. We have a white van, and it took about 1.5 years to actually get the van. So we'll be putting some of our new logo on it and some information on it. So when we're driving around town, that you'll see us coming. Let's see. Earlier, about a month and a half ago, I attended the Mass Park and Rec Association's regional meeting with Cape and Islands, and we actually have another one coming up on Thursday. It's when us rec professionals from each town get together. We talk about our issues. A lot of times we can help each other out, because what we're dealing with in Barnstable, maybe someone else has dealt with it already, or vice versa, where we're helping each other out to solve problems. We actually met today with the Barnstable School Facilities. We are trying to find locations for our summer leisure program. Every year we go through, what school projects are happening during the summertime and where can we actually hold our summer leisure program. So we met with them today. And I'll talk about registration for that later, but that was a good conversation we had with school facilities today. We were supposed to have inside Barnstable town government. I think that was during the storm, Mark, right? So that got canceled, obviously, with the bad weather and losing power. So that's got moved to Monday, March 23rd. So you have to be a part of the class. I think there's like 30 people or so in that class, and they go around from town to town departments and learn different things. So when they attend ours, they'll learn about rec, HYCC, the golf course, the Barnstable Adult Community Center. So that'll be coming up later this month. Aquatic wise, we're doing a lot in aquatics, even though it is cold weather months. There's a lot going on in aquatics. Upcoming, a date to be determined, but every year I go to the JFK Memorial Trust Fund committee meeting where I seek funds for our sailing program. And again, I'll be doing that again. All the summer positions are posted on the town's website. So if you're interested in, becoming a lifeguard, a gate attendant, a beach aide, and other positions we have posted, it's all on the town website. So I suggest, people go to that and find a job that they're interested. All that stuff will be communicated tomorrow at the job fair. So hopefully we'll get some kids from that as well. I sent George Noonan, our assistant director, to the Barnstable High School versus Sandwich High School swim meet to obviously see Barnstable kids that are current lifeguards of ours, but to also recruit potential lifeguards from Barnstable and from Sandwich. And that was well received, where we are looking right now to host a lifeguarding certification class in the spring. And I believe that information will be coming out soon. And I think we already have a lot of potential kids that want to get certified. So that is some good news. We have lifeguard tryouts coming up in April and May, April 25th, May 9th, and May 30th. Again, that's all posted on the town website. So if you're interested, apply for the job, sign up for tryouts. We'd love to have people come out to want to be a lifeguard. As always, I always talk about our beach parking permits. Those are on sale. They've been on sale since late December. We're having a little bit of issue that IT hasn't been able to solve. so we can't send out our emails through the OpenGov software that we have. So we've been trying to communicate through social media and other platforms that the town has. So if you are looking to get a parking permit, right now is the time. We are all caught up. So if you applied today, you'd get it very quickly, that you wouldn't have to wait around for it. So if you're listening to this, apply for your 2026 parking permit so our staff can get on it and get it back to you as soon as possible. New for this year, we've been meeting with her name's Megan Savage Dunn. She's a safety officer for the town of Barnstable. She deals in all things safety, and we invited her to some of our lifeguard training last summer. And we kind of had a follow up with her in the fall, and which led to other conversations. And now we're working with her and some fire departments to have a new training come this summer, where we go through a rescue scenario from start to finish, where the end result would be us getting a victim to the EMTs and firefighters for them to further the rescue. We meet with them every once in a while, but we've never done this sort of collaboration in the past. So that will be new and interesting, and hopefully we'll get that off the ground just before the season starts, sometime in June. Last but not least, in aquatics, the Disability Commission invited me to attend one of their recent meetings. They want to learn about different type of parking permits they have and how that affects people with disabilities. So that was a good meeting to attend, and I gave them information that they weren't aware of. So it was nice to kind of spread that knowledge to them. Program wise, Storm Hernando did quite some damage, and it caused some delays in our programs. So we have to extend some of our programs so we can finish up, and then we have to delay the start of some of our early spring programs. So we've communicated that out to people that have signed up for those. It's on our website. But just some changes in some end of our program and beginning of some of our new programs. Tomorrow is a busy day. Along with the job fair, we have our spring registration for HYCC programs and rec programs. That is tomorrow morning. For residents, it starts at 8:45 in the morning. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully we get a lot of people in person or online signing up for our new offerings for the spring. Our summer leisure program registration, I want to announce, we've had this information out for a while, but that will be Wednesday, April 8th. So if you're interested in our summer leisure program, you can mark your calendar down for Wednesday, April 8th. We have flyers going out and registration packets going out soon. We just kind of really need to button down where we're actually going to have our programs before we put out too much information. Two more things in program world coming up in 2 weeks. I believe our Special Olympics bowling team will be heading to the state games. Usually that's held, I believe, in Auburn, which is just outside of Worcester. So our athletes will be excited to participate in that. And then just going forward to the spring, I just want to really highlight softball. We are in need of volunteer softball coaches. So if your daughter is looking to play softball this spring with us, and you're registering your daughter, whether it's tomorrow or going forward, we do have a question in there in registration about seeking volunteer coaches. We need coaches to make this program happen. In the past, we've had a full-time staff person do a lot of the coaching, and it's just not really sustainable for our staff to do that. It's really meant for a volunteer coach to take over a team of probably about 12 to 14 girls, coach them up as best they can with the knowledge that we give them, and have a great season. It's all about learning and having fun, so hopefully some parents out there will take that challenge on. And then the other thing, just beyond what I mentioned earlier with the job fair for the Youth Commission, they do have the Youth Summit coming up on March 12th. That's where seventh graders get taken out of school for the day, and they learn a lot about what it's like to be a high school student going up to 8th grade. They learn about the effects of drugs and alcohol, decision making, stuff like that. We've been doing that for a long time too now. So that's coming up on March 12th. And again, that's not really for the public. It's really just for 7th graders that attend Barnstable Intermediate School. But if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
So, John, that will be held at Four Cs again?
Yes, we are going back to Four Cs after a couple of years of being at BIS due to some conflicts, but we were at Four Cs last year. And it's just a great location for the event. It gets the kids out of school, and they always have a great time. And while they're having a great time, they learn a lot as well.
Okay. And will both you and Mark be participating in the citizen class event that's going to be held at HYCC? That's March the 23rd, is it?
Yeah. It's not for like the outside public. It's just for people in that class.
Okay.
But yes, Mark and I, will be present, and we have, I believe, about a 20 to 25-minute presentation that we give about our different divisions. And I believe a part of Mark's is to, show people around the HYCC, just like some people have never been to Sandy Neck. You'd be surprised. There's people that have not been to the HYCC.
So, John, I'm going to get in contact with both you and Mark before that meeting. What I would really like to do is I'd like to see if Tony and maybe even Christine or even Brendan can join you just to do a quick call to action. I think that class is amazing. And one of the reasons that class was put together in the first place, I'm a graduate of the class over 20 years ago, was to allow people to look at the breadth of opportunities within our town to be involved. And we have 2 open recreation commission seats. And maybe we will be fortunate enough to find someone in that class. So I'll work with you both after the call to see how I can get either I'd like someone physically to be there, and then I'd like just to share my testimonial to get some seats filled on the Recreation Commission. Okay?
Yeah, Renee, as part of my 20 minutes or so that I have to speak with the class, I do have a slide up there about the Recreation Commission.
Okay.
So there will be opportunity for me to kind of highlight that. So it's already in my mind to be talking about that, and it's ready to go for the 23rd.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Any other questions for John? All righty. So without any delay, I will move right on to Mark and your staff report.
Thanks, Renee. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to start with our color guard program. It's a new program Jackie Keeney put together. She's working pretty hard trying to rekindle, I guess, and try to create a feeder program for the high school. They'll be going to a competition on March 21st in New Bedford. The girls have been working pretty hard for the past few weeks, and they're pretty excited to go see what can be in the future for them if they continue to kind of work through the movements and things they're learning now. So we're looking forward to them competing next year as well. So this is kind of part of Jackie's thing, and this will be the first big venture for this program. I think it's pretty neat. Administratively, as John mentioned, and we just talked about, we have the Inside Barnstable Town Government that was rescheduled due to the storm. Look forward to that. It's an awesome time to kind of show the building off. As you mentioned, there are a lot of people in town who haven't seen it. So it's always a great time to show that facility off to people. And I look forward to that time and informing the public of what we kind of do out of that facility, as John does with recreation. Into the ice news, the HYCC hosted a couple tournaments going into the vacation and coming out of the vacation before the storms hit. They were pretty excellent. We host another one this month, the Lobster Pot, which is our big annual youth tournament. if you noticed in the past, the middle of March, we get a weekend where you'll see a bunch of lobster flags on the cars and kids with little lobster hats on. So that'll be March 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then our last big tournament of the spring will be the U.S. Coast Guard Commandant's Cup on April 23rd through the 25th, which actually gained a couple extra teams this year. So it'd be great. It will be up to 12 teams in that, and that's always a great time. Our biggest ice users were given their anticipated practice schedules, and we've been negotiating that, or we'll start negotiating those for those large groups. That packet went out to them just before the vacation, and then we usually start negotiations and get that signed up by April, so that our youth groups know what they can anticipate going into next year. And we've scheduled the Butler ice sheet for repainting starting the week of April 27th. Those are some highlights in the ice end. And the gym and youth center end, we have a new program starting Wednesday, a Money Talks program that Steve Headley worked with Hyannis Financial to partner and deliver. It's designed for kids and adults who are looking into savings, investing, maybe paying for college, some things of that nature. It's starting this Wednesday. It'll go each Wednesday this month in our Shepley room from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. I'm looking forward to what may come of this. We get a lot of questions with our young kids now about these things, so we thought it was something we could offer them and offer some parents who have had questions about paying for college and sort of things like that. So we look forward to seeing what comes of that. Another program that Steve Headley heads is our indoor track program, which ended right before February vacation. During the vacation, we had one participant go to the Reggie Lewis Center for the New England Vacation Youth Meet. That was on February 18th. That young lady, she competed in the 60 meters and the 200 meters, and nothing but smiles and a lot of chatter about that afterwards. So we're happy for her, and we're happy for Steve to be able to kind of share his experience in that track world and set these things up for the participants of his program. Lastly, out of the gym, we'll have on Sunday, March 15th, we'll have our big annual Cape and Islands All-Star basketball games. This is, maybe our 10th or 11th year of doing it now out of the HYCC. And we have the girls game starting first at the boys game is starting first at 1:15 p.m. And the girls game will be at 3:30 p.m. We look forward to kind of packing the gym for that. It's always great to see these kids who've, competed all winter long have a chance to come out and kind of play just for a lot of fun. And it's always a great crowd. So that's the Sunday of that lobster pot tournament, and that's always kind of a great ending to that day. We have the hockey going on, and the gym's packed with the high school kids. So it's a real eventful day if anybody's around on Sunday, March 15th. That's about it for me. Thank you.
Excellent, Mark. I also wanted to give you some high praise for allowing the Barnstable High School basketball team play an important game at HYCC as they competed in their, I guess it was a state tournament. They won that game.
Yeah.
And if you guys had not made that our facility available for them for practice and their game, they would have missed that great opportunity. So thank you very much for making that happen.
Got it.
I would also say that the financial literacy class is an awesome idea. And I will send you some contact information with Cape 5, who does the credit for life at the high school. And they were recently a guest at one of our meetings, and a question, I think I asked the question, was the same type of framework for younger kids. And there may be an opportunity for them to support what I think is so important. The sooner kids get their arms around their finances and their opportunities to manage that throughout their life and maybe in some cases help their families the better. So great job. I have a question. How is the country line dancing class coming along?
That's a John one.
Oh, that's John.
Yeah,
John,
no.
come on now. That's my thing. How's that class coming along?
It was great. George set that up. We had a class. The first class had 29 people in it, and it was such a success that we opened up another class where I think we have close to 20. So the woman that does it, her business is called Salty Boots, and I guess she has quite the following. So
He does.
a lot of people that did it had a lot more experience. Where like the people we were trying to get were like newcomers. So there was a mix of like newcomers and really experienced veterans. So I think the second class we kind of lost maybe some of the experienced veterans, but we still got back about 20 people of the 29. And from all that I've heard, it's a blast and they're having fun. We do that on Saturdays in the morning at the Barnstable Adult Community Center. And
Excellent.
it's been going great. So
Excellent. Kudos. I think maybe even having a beginners and a advanced class because it is something that is good for you and something that I enjoy. So any other questions, Brendan or Tina for Mark?
No,
No,
but as
not at all.
always, Tina, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
It's okay.
John, would you be so kind as to introduce our youth commissioner who joined us?
yeah, sure. So we talked about the job fair a little bit, but we do have on Daniel Gomes that can talk a little bit more about the job fair since the youth is instrumental in putting this together. So Daniel, if viewers want to let the rec commission know and the general public know about the event coming up tomorrow, it'd be great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for letting me talk. I was a little late. I thought this meeting started at 6:30, but thank you again. Um, well, I'm not sure what you guys already said, so forgive me if I repeat myself or I repeat what was already said. But mainly the job fair, it's gone very well. Especially with I heard a woman that helped organize it retired this year. So considering that, it's gone very well. And I think we have 32 businesses now that are signed up for job fair. But we do expect like some of them not show up because of the blizzard last week. But I wouldn't be that much. I still think there'll be like at least 25, 27. There'll still be a lot of businesses. Um, and the businesses, they go from Four Cs, Candy Corner, YMCA, and then like the military as well. And the way it's set up is that in the gymnasium in that HYC, the beginning is like jobs for 14-year-olds, the middle is like 15, 16-year-olds, and the back is like where the military would be for 18-year-olds. And we've organized the event so it's very easy for kids who come in to figure out what to do. All they gotta do is just come in, they scan a QR code to sign in, or they can check in the front desk where I will probably be. And that's just for our logistics, just to see who came, how many people came, and what reason they came in, where they came, how they came. Just logistics, like I said. And yeah, they'll go right into the job fair. They can spend however much they want, and it's gone very well. And I'm very excited for tomorrow.
Take myself off mute. Are there any questions for Daniel? As I mentioned, Daniel, this is a great event. Kudos for you all. Really leading it with the recent retiree. It is one of my favorite events. I'm sorry I'm not in town to be there with you, but I did definitely encourage our recreation commissioners to stop by and to introduce themselves to the youth commissioners. Good luck tomorrow, and we will await your report. Not in April. I guess our next meeting will be in May. So I hope you will join us to give us an update on not only the youth job fair, but the youth summit that you also will be hosting. Do
Yep.
you have any questions for the Recreation Commissioner?
None that I can think of.
Okay, so I just want you to take back to your group if there's anything that you think that the Recreation Commissioners can do to support you all and your work. Please don't hesitate to get that word back to us through yourself directly, John, or your leader, whose name just
Yeah.
went out my head.
Daniel, can I ask you a quick question? Where do you
Yeah.
work during the summer? Or do
So
you work in the summer?
during the summer I work at a daycare. It's called Whiz Kids.
Okay.
I only work during the summer during summer camp. And yeah,
Okay. I'm always kind of curious because okay, but no, but thank you. I thought you did a great job sharing. Thank you
yeah,
for
thank you.
stopping by.
Thanks.
All righty, that is very good. I think we have a quick update that I will give you for so the CPC, which Tony is our representative, he has not officially been voted into that group pending the town council. We have a relatively new town council, a lot of new players, so they are working on that. And by our next meeting in May, he should have attended at least one of the CPC meetings. Mark or John, do you have any update on open space?
No.
Okay. So we'll definitely have an update on the work that that group is doing. Are there any other items not anticipated for this meeting that we need to cover? All righty. Any public comment? Seeing none. Our next official recreation meeting will be on Monday, May the 4th. But as I mentioned earlier, we will have a meeting on Monday, April the 6th to get our officers for 2026 voted in. Any other questions? All righty. I would like to thank everyone for joining us this evening and have a good month and see you on April the 6th. Good night now.